Blast me to the mortal realms. It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer series finale issues 79 and 80 by Hachette Partworks and Warhammer. Hello everyone and welcome back to indeed the finale of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer. So we are at the end of our journey here into the mortal realms, and with it brings us the big boss of the Oryx, Swampboss Skumdrekk. So parts 1 and 2 of this fantastic centerpiece model. Pity the Stormcast didn't get one. I mean, the Stormdrake Guard are nice models, but not a centerpiece character. I suppose Cromdis if you got the premium kits. But yeah, he's a nice end to the collection. But we didn't only get the issues, we got a thank you letter. So let's read this. Dear subscriber, thank you for your subscription of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer. We hope you have enjoyed it. As you may be aware, the collection is now coming to an end, and we'd like to thank you for your continued support. Should you wish to order any back issues, please visit hachettepartworks.com or email/call our customer service team using the details at the top of this letter. A brand new collection. Want more Warhammer? Collect 9 complete game-ready combat patrol forces from the indomitable Space Marines to the sinister Tyranid Swarm. With our brand new collection, Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. To subscribe, visit warhammercombatpatrol.com. Yours sincerely, Hachette Partworks. So yeah, as you may know from this channel, we are going into Combat Patrol. And I will have to give a bit of sad news for Dungeons & Dragons fans. I'll be doing a separate video on that later on. But yeah, it's not looking good for me and the future of the collection. I'm so far behind, it's a bit disheartening. But yeah, we have something new to look forward to in the form of Combat Patrol. And yeah, let's dive into these 2 issues then and complete our Stormbringer journey. So let's start. We'll open both packs, read through both magazines, and of course I'll show you the frame. So let's adjust the camera and we'll dive in. So pack 1. And pack 2. So we'll set our issues off to the side and we'll take a look at the frames first of all. So 3 rather chunky frames plus a pretty big base. I believe this is the 120mm base, the same as the Psychophage from the not Combat Patrol, it will be from Combat Patrol eventually, from the Ultimate Starter Set. So yeah, really nice big base. And here we have the 3 frames that make up our Swampboss Skumdrekk. So we'll zoom in a bit and we'll look at the big frame first, and then we'll look at the separate frame. So here's our first frame. We got the majority of the actual beast itself that Swampboss Skumdrekk is riding. Got all the little trophy racks, the little gibbets that he has ready for prisoners. And yeah, loads of little details, some spiked shoulder pad pieces there. Collar for the chains, we've got some man trappers there as well. So lovely kit. I think we've got 2 different yokes, as there are 2 different builds for this. So you can build it as Swampboss Skumdrekk, or you can build it as a breaker boss on Troggoth creature. So we're going to get the instructions, of course, for Swampboss Skumdrekk. But yeah, it shouldn't be too hard for you to locate the instructions online if you wish to build the alternate model. So yeah, it's a nice detail on the hide here where it's branded with Orc War Clan symbols. And yeah, a rather vicious looking beastie indeed. And on the other frame we have the components to build our boss. So we've got Skumdrekk himself there with the iron clawed hand, and then we've got the alternate body for our regular boss there. We've got Skumdrekk's man catcher there. I believe there's different weapon options, I think, for the other guy. I just can't quite make them out on the frame, as I've missed them on the other one, which I might have done. No. Yeah, there we have the alternate head, and Skumdrekk's head comes in a beautiful cage there, and there's the rest of his head with his awesome hat. Yeah. So all in all, a really good finish. So that's his weapon. He's got like these chains and hooks and stuff. That's kind of cool. So yeah, some alternate options there if you want. I believe there's 2 different heads, or is it 1 head and then 2 different headdresses? I think it's 2 different headdresses. So I'm only seeing the 1 set of head halves. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool. Nice model. We'll see how it builds in the magazine. Speaking of, let's start at issue 79. So we got a lot to go through. So we have the Gathering, the finale, so the final part of the Gathering. A War is Born, so a page for our Iron Jaws collection. Collect and build articles for Swampboss Skumdrekk. Tactics for the Stormbringer Guard, and The Last Stand, Sally Forth, Battle Plan 9. So, the Gathering finale. Loon boss Claggett Blacktongue has attracted the attention of someone important in Scrapperspill. All he wanted was to get himself a big mob to boss around, but it looks like he might have a chance to demonstrate his worth to the Loon King himself. So, yeah, this is nice finishing off to the story. Brave little Grot there, who wants to take command of a big mob, has drawn the attention of Scraggot, the Loon King himself. And yeah, now he's got to try and prove his worth. And we got a lovely double-page spread story there to read. And how it all ends out. Pretty cool. So we have a page for our Iron Jaws. A War is Born. So this is basically what happens when the Orcs go to war. So at the head of each war is a strong leader, the driving force behind the power and disarray of the enemy. These mighty chiefs blend the roles of figurehead, tactical commander, totem, and enforcer. Troops are drawn to these larger-than-life personalities to join the army, to become part of the legend, and to make part of their notoriously bloody campaigns. So, yeah, this is basically how a war is formed. So, the head is often a war boss, usually someone who's got the power to control a Maw Crusher, and has loads of boys at his command. So the call to a war, he can grab hold of extra forces, so if he's brave enough, he can go to the Gargants and acquire a Man-Crusher Gargant to join his force. He might attract the prophets of the war, the Weird Boys. Ogre Maw tribes are potentially drawn to his war for the kill and eating, as well as beasts to ride and send into war. So yeah, a war is a good combination of all the different forces of destruction. Moving on, we have our collect article for Swampboss Skumdrekk. So, Swampboss Skumdrekk is a living legend among Orcs. He is famed for his collection of strange beasts, his prolific gambling, and his prowess as a leader and fighter. So, yeah. Come any closer and I'm snatching you. Come on then, come closer. So he rides around on a Troggoth creature known as Slotclaw, a sludge breaker beast. So yeah, pretty cool. On the back we got tables for the reason he has joined your war. and his tactics while there, plus great and epic deeds for him to tick off as he completes battles. Then we have our build guide for him. So as I said, this will just build Swampboss Skumdrekk. It won't show you any alternate builds, but we only have one set of legs, so the legs will be the same regardless. And yeah, the torsos will be different if you wish to build up. Just don't use the components it says for Skumdrekk. And yeah, build up the different boss if you so choose. And we build up the beast itself. So we've got loads of different pieces that make it up. Again, I believe there's different head positionings if you want different... actually, no, it looks like you have... Yeah. So the howdah is actually two different parts that connect all together. That's kind of cool. Okay. So yeah, there's only one really way you can configure the beast, but you've got two different riders on top. That's kind of cool. And then we've got all the different cages and stuff to attach to the side. And then we want to paint this guy before we glue him down to the base, as well as before we attach the swamp boss on top. So we want to leave this guy separate, leave this guy separate, and leave him off the base at the moment. So we'll find out how to paint him in the next issue, coming shortly. Moving on to order tactics, we got the Stormbringer guard. I still stumble over these guys with my tongue twisting. But yeah, these guys are the hammer and anvil, the spear strike of the Stormcast force. So they're maneuverable and they have high damage, but they are being made priority targets by enemy generals, as I don't want them getting too close. So just beware of ranged forces. So, Strike Force, they are used to often deal with the biggest and hardest enemy forces. So just make sure you have protection, send in scouting units to harass the enemy war machines if they have any. And yeah, any missile troops as well are high priority to take care of to make sure these guys get to their targets. So our battle is Sally Forth. We have 3 heroes and 6 troops. We got 3 order territories, 1 big destruction territory, and a Y shape of objective markers. So we have victory points are scored, 1 for 1 objective, 1 for 2, and 1 for more than the opponent. We also have secret tunnels. Before the battle, the order player divides their units into 3 groups, each consisting of 1 hero and 2 troops. They then number them 1, 2, and 3, place them off the battlefield next to their corresponding deployment area. At the start of the first of 3 each of the first 3 battle rounds, before either player takes their turn, the order player rolls a d3 and checks the result. The order player deploys the corresponding group into its deployment area. If the player rolls a number of a group that has already been deployed, they must re-roll until they are able to deploy one of the remaining groups. So going without saying, on turn 3, the last group available will automatically be deployed. Pretty much. But yeah, pretty cool. So placing 6 pieces of terrain around 4 objectives in the Y shape. Destruction deploys all their forces in the destruction territory, and then yeah, the order deploys their heroes and troops. So that'd be pretty cool. You could have 1 hero from each of the 3 factions, and then 2 troops to go with them. That'd be kind of cool. And we've got our Spoils of War store page to write down on there as well. And the final issue, which we can look at straight away. So here we have issue 80, part 2. We have order tactics and our final battle. We also have a finale to a story, The Last Stand. Actually, not a finale. This is a brand new story, The Last Stand. So the Mortal Realms are places of constant conflict. Wars have raged across these lands for generations. With many inhabitants swept up in the strife, all have a part to play in the struggle, whether they are mighty, immortal, or a simple grot looking for something to smash. So yeah, this is a culmination of all of our stories, and it's basically telling the tale of a city of Sigmar that has been set up, all the different forces that has met them along the way, and all the people that have helped protect them. And yeah, things are about to go towards a new era of the Mortal Realms. Moving on, we have our paint guide. I've just remembered, I just realised I haven't done the contents. So the contents, of course, Last Stand, Swampboss Skumdrekk paint guide, his rules, destruction tactics, which is weird because it says order there, and the Last Stand, the storm breaks. So yeah, nice new short story to read all about a city of Sigmar. And moving on to our paint guide, so a lovely detailed paint guide. So we've got 3 sub-assemblies, the cages, the swamp boss himself, and the beast. So mask off with some blue tack, the areas not to be touched with paint. And we want to base coat the entire model with Catachan flesh, apparently. Then we're picking out the skin of the beast with Auroch flesh. I suppose that is easier. We've got a lot of leather and wood to do, so it's easier to paint the skin separately. Then with shading with Agrax Earthshade, I would have thought we'd have used Aphonian Camo Shade in a better greeny colour. I suppose this way, no, it's just shading the skin. I would have said give it an all over shade on the brow as well. Then we're giving it a dry brush of Ogren Camo, and then a final dry brush of Wraithbone, focusing mainly on the scaled areas. Painting Auroch flesh all over Swampboss Skumdrekk's exposed flesh. Moving back to the beast, painting the maw with Corn Red, the tongue of Baraknar Burgundy, and then any of the cushion, here we go, on Slopclaw's back, painting that with Baraknar Burgundy. Picking out any of the cloth on Swamp Boss with Abaddon Black, and the cloth on our beast as well. Then we got a lot of metals, so there's a lot of stuff on Swamp Boss Skumdrekk himself, his hat and his shoulder armour. Loads of details on the bits of wood with the chains and stuff. Plenty of armour panels and pieces on the actual beast itself, and don't forget to give it cages as well. Finally, Wraithbone is used to pick out the claws and teeth and any bandages, and then Runelord Brass is used to pick out some extra details just to help break out the silver. Then Catachan flesh is used to tidy up any areas that we may have missed, as well as picking out any bits we didn't get earlier. Onto the shades, so we've got a lot to do with Nuln Oil, so all the silver, the tongue, the cushion with Nuln Oil, Aphonian Camo Shade on Swampboss Skumdrekk's skin, Skeleton Horde on the bones and wrappings, doing a second layer on the claws to make them look dirty. Agrax Earthshade and all the bronze details, and also on the claws to add a little bit of extra depth to them. We've also got a lot of the wood and leather to do with Nuln Oil as well, which, yeah, surrounding wood and stuff. Oh, yeah, taking care not to get the an extra layer. So have we done it already? Yeah, silver and remaining brown details were with Nuln Oil, so yeah. Moving on to our highlights then, so we're picking out the skin on Swampboss Skumdrekk with Ogren Camo, Wraithbone on all the claws and teeth, Slash Grey for the tongue and the cushion, Baylor Brown for any levers as well as the spines on the end of his tail, Night Questal flesh to highlight the wood, Dawnstone to highlight the black cloth, Stormhose Silver to highlight all of our metals, and White Scar for the teeth and ropes. Finally then, glue the model down to the base, putting glue on the feet and the tail. Then add some extra details, so we've got some Grot's shields here and bits and bobs. Applying our paint and texture paste as usual, before giving it a nice dry brush. Remove any blue tack left, and then we can attach the top bit. You could easily probably paint around that, you wouldn't have to leave it as a sub-assembly. I don't think it's too much in the way. And then finally, of course, attach the Swamp Boss himself. And yeah, there we go. So pretty cool. Nice finished model. They didn't paint the eye, so maybe put a bit of red in the eye there. or yellow, depending what colour eye you want to give him. Yeah, all in all, pretty cool. Lots of little details. So there's horns and tusks as well. So just take your time making sure you've got all the detailed pieces. And yeah, you'll have yourself a wonderfully finished model at the end of it. Finally then, we got his rules. So he's a mighty 15 wounds, bravery of 6, 4+ save, movement of 8. So he's got his spiked snatcher stick, a 3-inch range 4 attack weapon, 3 to hit, 3 to wound, -1 rend and 2 damage. The grasping talons of the beast, so 3-inch range star attacks, 3+, 3+, -1, 2 damage. Noisome bite, 1-inch range, 1 attack, 3+, 2+, -1 and damage star. And the thrashing tail is 1 inch, 2 attacks, 3+, star, -2 and 2. So depending on the wounds he takes is the abilities that are starred. So 0 to 5 wounds suffered, he has 6 attacks with his talons, d3 +4 damage for the bite, and 2 to hit with the tail, which goes down to 5 attacks, d3 +3 and 3+, with a 6 to 8 wounds suffered. 9 to 11 wounds suffered, it's 4 attacks for the tail, d3 +2 damage and 4+ to hit. And finally, for 12+ wounds suffered, 3 attacks for the talons, d3 +1 damage and 5+ to wound with the tail. So he's mounted on a sludge breaker beast who has grasping talons, a noisome bite and a thrashing tail. Swampboss Skumdrekk himself attacks, of course, with the stick, snatcher stick. So he's a beast master. If this unit is part of your army after deployment, but before the first battle round, pick a friendly Hobgrot unit to be the counting crew, and 1 friendly unit to be the bet. You cannot pick this unit to be the counting crew. Pick this unit or the counting crew to be the bet. If the bet is the first friendly unit to be destroyed during the battle, you can pick 1 extra triumph enchantment for your army that can be used during the battle, and even if the points total of your army is not less than your opponent's army. Units chosen to benefit from the triumph must be either this unit or the counting crew. So we've got a venom from the sludge raker beast. So add 1 to the number of mortal wounds caused by the venom encrusted weapon battle trait if the unmodified roll is a 6 and the attacking unit is wholly within 12. Now we've got a designer's note here. Then we're moving on to his new rule of expert snatch and grab. Once per battle, at the end of combat, you can pick an enemy unit that has a wounds characteristic of 7 or less, does not have a mount, and is within 3 of this unit, or 2d6. If the roll is equal to or greater than the model's wound, it is slain. And yeah, we got some awesome bits here to cover for his rules. So nice little read up there. Then we got our final battle tactics for destruction. We got the cunning crew. So they have various special abilities. They also have various different attacks, but they are interdependent. They kind of rely a lot on everybody being alive. It's kind of hard to take make a choice of who dies first. They all have good benefits, at least, to the unit. And finally, Swampboss Skumdrekk, of course. So he's an aspiring leader. He's a heavy hitter, but he does have degrading abilities as he takes a lot of wounds. So you might want to protect him with lots of bodies around him to try and distract the attacks. So the last stand, the Storm Breaks, is our final battle plan. Throughout this battle pack, you and your opponent have won bonuses through victory in combat. Check back over your previous battle plans for a reminder of which side has won in each conflict. So yeah, we've got all different bonuses here to win. Final battle then, 4 heroes and 6 troops on each side. No mentioning that you must take Swampboss Skumdrekk. This is interesting. So Order picks their army, then Destruction picks theirs. Place 5 objective markers, 6 pieces of terrain. Before deployment, the winner of the fullback battle plan gets to choose which territory is theirs, either A or B. If the battle's a draw, roll off as usual. Deployment priority for this battle is decided by the outcome of the Valley and of Shadows battle plan. If the result of that battle is a draw, roll off again. First turn, priority for first turn is decided by who has won the ambush at Brute's Tome Bluff battle plan. This result is a draw, roll for priority as normal. Battle round length is 5 rounds. Victory points are determined as usual, so 1 for 1 objective, 1 for 2 objectives, 1 for more than the opponent. Special rule reinforcement: from the second battle round, each player can deploy 1 additional hero or troop from the rest of their collection into the deployment zone at the start of their turn. So yeah, essentially, you increase the amount of troops that you have. So starting from round 2, you'll have at least 4 rounds of adding in either a character or a troop. So that's kind of cool. And then whether Order has won or whether Destruction's won, you read the following. But that's not all. We have a secret page. Ooh, secret page. So yeah, Rise of the Horned Rat. There is no peace in the mortal realms, only a brief calm before a bigger storm. Enemies are never defeated, only pushed back to where they can plot and gather strength. Now a new threat rises from the below, and horrors that many had hoped to forget will be unleashed upon the mortal realms once more. Beneath the lands of the realm of Akshi, something stirs. In the dark places, in the quiet of the night, faint sounds are heard. Then, in a moment, the horizon is lit by a tide of bright green flame. With a mighty groan, the ground is torn apart. From the depths below, arcane structures of brass and glowing stone are thrust into the air amidst the pealing of discordant bells. Meteors fall from the sky, and the land is turned black as malignant energy warps and mutates the birds, the beasts, and even the plants. Chaos has come to the mortal realms, and the lands will be forever scarred by this unholy intrusion. In the mortal cities, the soldiers rush to the walls to defend from the incoming threat. Nagash's forces, eager to expand his empire, flock to the site of the disaster, and the forces of destruction converge on the region, hoping to get their fill of the mayhem. From below, the ground swells with a writhing, screeching mass of bodies spilling out from the tunnels that have reached the surface. A million beady eyes gleam in the fell glow of warp fire. A million hands grasp at wicked weapons of death. A cry goes up from the soldiers on the city walls. The Skaven are coming! The ground outside Hammerhall Aksha is rent asunder, and the Skaven pour out from the underground city to attack the realm. So more battles await in the war-torn realms as we hit Age of Sigmar 4th edition. So, whether we'll be seeing a new Age of Sigmar part work, we don't know yet at the moment, but it probably won't be for a few months. But yeah, there we have it. Right, that's the final issue. I'll adjust the camera and give you my final thoughts on this and the collection. So yeah, the final 2 issues, pretty cool. We got, of course, our big centerpiece model for the Orc War Clans and the Cool Boys in general with Swampboss. And yeah, he's a nice addition to the collection. Yeah, a really fitting finishing place, I think. So all in all, just pretty good. It's fantastic model for £20. I believe this guy goes for 60-ish, maybe 70. But yeah, it's a good value kit over the 2 issues, £10 an issue, so £20 for a really cool centerpiece model. Kind of wish I was building and painting it myself, but yeah, this is going off to Marcio, so I'll be packing up the parcel ready for him and sending off the last few pieces of the collection, so the premium kit free and everything from the last 20 or so issues. Going on to the collection as a whole, all in all, pretty good collection. Would I have enjoyed it more if I had built, painted and collected everything? Maybe. I know some of the destruction stuff would have been nice to build and paint. Stuff I've never really touched. But, I mean, as it is, all the stuff is stocked in a box still. I have no idea what I'm going to do with most of it. I think the only units I've built recently from the collection are the Vanquishers, the Stormbringer Guard, that's about it. The only other things I've built recently for Stormcast was the Indrasta and the Annihilators plus the Knight Vexilor. Yeah, I haven't used the collection to its full capacity. Definitely probably would have enjoyed it a lot better if I had built and painted everything as and when I got it. I guess we'll find out when it comes to Stormbringer. Not Stormbringer, this is Stormbringer. I guess we'll find out more when it comes to Combat Patrol, which I'm going to be building and painting everything as and when it comes. So that'll be quite nice. I've planned everything out. I've decided how I'm going to break videos down, etc. When it comes to building stuff, I'm going to have a simple introduction, the components you want to cut out for each individual model. I'll then edit speeding through the construction of the model. Probably won't go too fast, just fast enough that you can hopefully keep up with how I'm doing things. And then, yeah, show you the completed model before moving on to the next one in the series, etc. When it comes to painting, I'll know more how I'm going to do it when we get the paint issue. Our first paint issue comes with 3 paints and a paintbrush. So we're putting some basic colours down on our models at least, which would be kind of cool. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all very much for joining me on this journey. For final ratings then, so final ratings for this delivery, solid 5 out of 5. It's only a half delivery, so I can't give it a 10 out of 10. It's great, brilliant model for brilliant price. Can't grumble at that. Collection as a whole, so this is gonna be hindered by the fact that I've only collected half the collection. But all in all, it's a good collection. I just don't like it that it's a mixture of essentially both sides having 3 smaller armies. It kind of worked for Imperium magazine because it is all about allying in and stuff. Plus it is the allied Imperium versus one great enemy. You could say this is allied order against one great big enemy, but it's one great big enemy, excuse me, made up of 3 smaller sub-factions. So yeah, I think for the collection, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Overall, it was good. There's some things I didn't like, some things I would have preferred more of. Especially Sylvaner. Would have been nice to have some of the newer stuff added in. Maybe the Kurnoth Hunters. Those guys are awesome models. But yeah, all in all, pretty good. If they do another part works for Stormbringer, there's 2 ways it would go. One, the most obvious way would be, depending on how successful Combat Patrol is, they'll do a similar thing but with Spearhead. So Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead Force. You'll collect 9 Spearhead armies over the course of 90 issues, etc. The same as Combat Patrol. But 2, the way I'd like to see it go is a more direct Stormcast versus Skaven split. Maybe Stormcast and a Cities of Sigmar against Skaven. That'd be kind of cool. So we have obviously a Skaven-tide contents. Then we'd add in Cities of Sigmar stuff, as we have the Skaven trying to take down a city via 80 issues of backwards and forwards battles, etc. That would probably be my preferred way. So we get a bigger, grander collection of Skaven models. Maybe have Gracia Frankwell front and center. As a nice centerpiece model. For Stormcast, we could have there's some new characters coming out. Maybe have him as one of the centerpiece models for the Stormcast. Talia Vedra possibly for the City of Sigmar forces, or maybe the Pontifex Venestra, I think it is called. She's called on her chariot thing carried by two dudes. Yeah, that's the only way I can see a new Age of Sigmar thing coming. Would I collect it? Option 1, not likely. Option 2, possibly. Just have to wait and see. But yeah, I've rambled on long enough. As I said, there'll be a separate Mumbles video coming out soon about the future of what's happening on the channel. I've had to make a few decisions. But yeah, things are going to be changing a bit. And yeah, I'm going to be organising proper filming schedule soon, so I can get on top of videos that I've well overdue. But yeah, fear not, things are looking in a good way. We'll be back on track very soon. So thank you all very much for your continued support, whether you've just liked this video, commented on it, or indeed given me a subscribe and follow. Whether you are indeed helping support me via Patreon or other means. Don't forget there is my eBay store as well, where I am currently having a bit of a clear out. Yeah, thank you all very much for joining me on the Stormbringer journey. And all what's left to do is say thank you all for watching. And until next time, stay safe and happy hobbying. Goodbye.